What went wrong for you guys on defense in the first half, and how'd you try to adjust as the game went on?
I think the thing about it was more than anything is we couldn't guard the ball. We had a really hard time with Kugel, obviously, and obviously their point guard got downhill, and they played off of switches, and I thought Folks had a really big game too. So those two more than anybody, we just didn't contain them very well, and they played to the switches, which was smart. And we screwed up some slips and some things like that, which we knew that was a big point of emphasis that we were going to have to be better at. And when we tried to stay connected with 4 and 5, we never got any stops. So it was just a poor defensive effort. Kind of we guarded a lot better than that of late, but that was a poor performance today. And granted, they got some guys that can go get their own.
And what was the situation with Darren in the second half?
Well, he was on we doctors, everybody wanted to be on a minute restriction the first half. It was hard to do when Mel's got fouls and El Marco's knees hurt. So we didn't really have anybody to put in there. Obviously he kept us in there the first half, getting 23 and a half. And the second half, I thought he started out fine, and then it started bothering him, obviously. But the thing about it is we expected something like that to happen. But we were hoping that it would be a situation in which I could control it a little bit better by minimizing its minutes in the first half.
With the minutes per screen, is it something you guys think you'll have for an extended period of time, or is it just depending on how he kind of feels with things?
I think a lot just depends on his legs and how he feels.
Coach, what about their traps made it so difficult to execute your actions, especially it seemed like you guys were able to get a lot in the paint, especially against a drop coverage, but maybe 3-2 zone, man. What was throwing them off, or throwing you off?
I didn't think they trapped much. I didn't see a lot of that, but I thought they switched defense as well. And we knew how we were going to attack it, because they're going to go back man to man after the first ball screen or the second or third pass, and we didn't. We stood and held it and let it bother us. But I think Johnny does a really good job of changing things up, and they certainly did that. And we didn't play through our post one time tonight. I don't think we threw the ball to the post on the block one time and went and tried to score. We did a few times whenever there was a ball screen and throw behind it or whatever, but for the most part, we didn't give many post-ups.
Just to be kind of clear on Darren, is there any long-term concern, or is it just
Well, he hadn't played 9 games. Yeah. So obviously it's concerning, but I mean, it's going to be, how he feels and everything. I thought he did great. He was definitely there for a stretch in the first half, a different Darren than what we've seen, but even in the last couple of weeks. So it was certainly understandable. The reason why he hadn't played, I mean, because he hasn't been that explosive, and he's a little rusty, but I thought he actually looked pretty darn good, but the second half, that's been a concern, that his legs feel differently in the second half, and a lot of that I think today was just based on, if I could have played him less in the first half, would he have been more available in the second half? And I think the answer is probably yes.
To see the impact that he had in the first half, to be able to kind of get that in your set, that speaks to what kind of special player that he can be and how important he is for this team moving forward.
Yeah, he's a good player. He's a good player. We got to learn to play with him, and he's got to learn to play with us. But he's a really talented kid, really talented.
Coach, you brought up the low post play and tossing it in there. Last time you were in this building, you guys had a dominant win because you were able to feed Hunter Dickinson and really abuse that matchup. Do you feel like that's a key piece of your identity that you need to get back moving forward in conference play?
We don't have Hunt.
No, I know that. I'm just saying, in terms of
we'd like to play through our posts, but Bryson Turner, he caught the ball a couple of times in tight, and we didn't finish, and then Flo didn't catch the ball really in tight, but we didn't have a post presence today at all. We've got to have that to be good. Most of our teams in the past have played through the post, and this one hasn't been able to do that consistently yet.
Coach, you mentioned Riley Kugel, Themis Folks now, exceptionally were in the second half and making the stops, but you played, your team played pretty well defense, holding Folks to only one field goal in the second half. Did you try to change things up at halftime to specifically limit him, or?
No, not really. The thing about it is with him, he's really good at probing, and he's really good at driving away from a screen, and we did a really poor job the first half of guarding that and not forcing him into the screen. So, and he made a couple of huge pull-up jumpers over bigs whenever we had the switches. So I think he's a really good player. He's a handful. Last year with Johnson and then with Hall, you had two guys that could really score the ball that they did, and they both gave us fits. And then this year, obviously, Cougar and Folks. I actually thought we did a decent job on obviously Burks until the end, and then that was a huge shot he made.
Coach, I just want to get your thoughts on Riley Kugel. I know there was a time where you thought he would be part of your program.
Yeah, we signed Riley.
Yeah.
And we were disappointed when it didn't work out. So,
Yeah, he had a little bit of an offensive slump coming in today, 19 points. Just what do you think about seeing him out on the court tonight?
I think he's talented. I think he's talented. I think he's an athlete. He's better with the ball, probably than what I envisioned him 2 years ago being. But he's really talented, and he can stretch it, and he can drive past you too. So he's a good basketball player.
Got time for one or two more.
Coach, during that second half, there was a stretch there where you didn't score a single field goal in about 5 minutes. And when I asked Trey White about it, he kind of said it wasn't UCF's defense, it was just Kansas' offense. Do you feel that?
I think that's sometimes an incorrect thing to say because it doesn't give the other team credit. I thought they defended as well, but I did think our ball and body movement was very poor tonight. So I think we got to get better at that.
You played Coach Dawkins' teams now for 3 seasons. Do you think this is the most versatile roster he's had? Because he gave you a lot of different looks defensively, went big with Bowl, could go small with Stillwell and Cambridge. What do you think of their roster here he's built here to make an NCAA run?
I think to put that many players together in the portal and have 11 guys that you can go to at any time, basically, even though today I think they played 8 guys the majority of the minutes and played no, they end up playing 11 or they end up playing 10, but their bench played 18, 12, 16, 13 and 1. So you're playing 4 guys substantial minutes, and their bench scored 18 points and had 14 rebounds. And our bench didn't play the minutes, obviously, but had 5 points and 3 rebounds. So I do think that was a big key.
Bill, I think you mentioned this pregame, kind of finding that flow between Peterson playing alongside the guys, missing the absence. How do you kind of find that in the coming games and in the Peterson and the practices, et cetera, of like what the offense looks like at its ideal state?
Well, you got to understand, we didn't play Darren very much the first half with Melvin. It's because Melvin was in foul. He had the 2 quick ones, so it'll look better. I didn't think, to be honest, I thought Darren got paint touches. I thought he got inside the defense. I thought he did some good things, but probably not the things that related to, like if we were better screeners, then I think he could come off the screen and force help, and we could play behind it. There was only one time today that I remember, and Trey made the first 3 of the game off a ball screen that was well set, and then everybody just ran to Darren, and then we played behind it. We got to do more of that stuff.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Coach.
See you.